All right, what's going on, my powerlifting people? Thank you for tuning in to another video. My name is Coach Arian. In this video, we're going to go over this topic on mindset, which is what I've been doing a little bit more lately on this channel. We're going to talk about opportunity versus obligation. So a lot of people do this in all aspects of life, but it also happens in powerlifting, and obviously it's a powerlifting channel, so I wanted to talk about this in respect to powerlifting, is that people may see things as a positive way or a negative way. And some things may make sense, like if you go to a world championship or a national championship and you don't place the way you want to place, you don't break the records and stuff like that, you don't perform the way you want to, I understand you can look at that as a negative way. But there may also be positive things in there, like you may have hit the numbers that you wanted, there just happened to be someone better than you that you can't control who shows up and how strong they are, and they just performed better than you and took the world title. There also may be positive things in there as far as things you can do going forward, like maybe you realize, oh well, maybe I was slacking off on this, or I wasn't expecting this to happen, and so for the next training cycle you can focus on improving those things and then improving yourself and being better in the sport going forward. But sometimes it even comes down to people being negative about different things they have to do when it comes to improving themselves, like in the sport of powerlifting, when it comes to, for example, like training. You could see training as an opportunity or as an obligation. So as an example, you can see it as an obligation, like, oh man, now I have to drive to the gym, 3, 4, 5 times a week. I have to go and do my prehab and rehab exercises. I have to warm up and I have to do all these sets and reps that my coach gave me. Then I have to go and do all this accessory work, and I don't like doing this accessory work. And then all the things that come with that training. Now you have to maybe shower more often and clean your clothes more often and cook more food and then wash your dishes more and everything like that. And so it's all these things you're obligated to do because you want to train, or you feel like you have to train, or because your coach told you this is what you have to do in order to hit the goals that you're telling your coach that you want to hit in the competition. Now you can look at it the other way. You can look at it as an opportunity. There's an opportunity to improve yourself, even just like general health. You're losing body fat, you're gaining muscle mass, you're burning more calories. That means you can eat more food and eat foods that maybe aren't as healthy for you, but since you're burning more calories, you can get away with it. And then you're also training to get better numbers. You're going to hit PRs, you're going to break state records or national records. You're going to be able to qualify for a national championship or to Arnold. So there's all these opportunities that come down the line if you do these things. Now, out of the two ways that I explained this, which one sounds better to you? And which mentality do you think will be more likely to lead you to success? And I'm sure you know the answer, it's pretty obvious, and that's why we have to think of things as an opportunity, not as an obligation, you're forced to do this, or man, why am I doing this and stuff like that, but as an opportunity. There's an opportunity for me to go in and better myself and get stronger and achieve the goals that I want to achieve. And it's not going to be easy along the way. There's going to be tough workouts. There's going to be times where you have to miss out on certain events, and there's maybe times where you have to spend more money than you want to for, like I said, a gym membership, coach, and clothes and food and all those kinds of things. But usually at the end, once you achieve the goal that you want to achieve, if that's something you truly wanted, then you were happy. You're like, oh man, it was worth it, and I'm glad I did all that work to be able to achieve that. And oftentimes it leads you to be more motivated next time for next training cycle. Okay, I'm going to work hard at these things. I'm going to improve on it even more so I can even get stronger, and I can do even better, and I can qualify for worlds, and I can break world records, all those kinds of things. So then you build this momentum where the success adds on top of the success, and you become more motivated, and you're wanting to go after bigger and bigger opportunities. Rather than if you think it as a negative mindset, you're like, oh man, I'm obligated to do this, I hate doing this, you're going to skip some accessory work, you may do some more cheat meals, you may be like, I won't just sign up for that competition and back out of competitions, and then you never achieve those goals that you wanted, and then it snowballs the other way. Then you're like, do I really want to do this? And maybe you drop your coach, maybe you stop focusing on your nutrition, and your body fat goes up, and then you may just quit on it completely because you're like, it's not fun anymore because you didn't hit the goals you wanted, but you weren't putting the work in beforehand to lead to those goals that you wanted. And then you're just like, not looking at that aspect of it. You're just saying, well, I didn't achieve these goals. I'm spending all this money for nothing. I might as well just stop. And so another thing that could benefit you when it comes to thinking about this and thinking about, the opportunity, the obligation, and how I mentioned a number of times as far as like your goals and achieving your goals, is to focus on what you do want versus focusing on what you don't want. Because the thing that you focus on and think about more is what you're going to be constantly thinking about all the time, in your spare time each day, on weekends, when you're in the gym, everything like that. That's where you're going to be thinking about, and that's where you're more likely to do. So if you're focusing on the things that you do want, then you're going to be thinking about that more and more likely to do it. If instead you're focusing on all the things you don't want to be doing, then that's going to be eating in your mind all day, every day, and then you're more likely to just skip out on those things because you don't want to do them, and then that's going to hurt you in the long run. So just as an example, again, going back to your goals, you may have goals, okay, I want to qualify for nationals, or I want to qualify for the Arnold, and these are the numbers that I have to hit. So you can focus on, okay, these are the numbers I have to hit by this date at this meet so I can go and compete at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Festival, because that's what I want to do. These are what my goals are, and these are the things that I have to do to focus on that goal and achieve that goal, versus focusing on things you don't want to do, like, oh man, I hate doing biceps, or I hate doing like tricep push downs. I don't like doing accessory work. I have to be in the gym longer and I don't want to do these. And so then when it gets to that time, after you did like your bench and your close grip bench and, you know, dumbbell shoulder press, and you're looking over at the cable machine, you're like, I don't really want to do this. Like, I've been telling myself the whole time I don't want to do this. Oh, there's someone else already there. I don't want to wait. And you're like, it's not a big deal. I'll just go home or whatever, and I'll just skip out on it. And so those little things, like I said, were eating at your mind. And then in that moment, you made a rash decision, because obviously in the moment you're being emotional and you're not taking time to think about, oh, these are my goals. These are the things my coach told me to do and all this other stuff. And so you kind of just make a decision in that moment, make the wrong decision, and all that stuff, like I said, snowballs, adds to each other and compounds to you not being able to achieve your goals. So then when it comes to meet, then you don't hit the numbers that you have to hit, that you want to hit to achieve your goal of going to Arnold, and then you don't get it because you missed out on all these little things along the way. So instead, focus on what you do want, so you're more likely to do it, and remind yourself of, this is what I want. You know, sometimes people set goals, you know, in December and January. These are my goals for the year. These are the things I want to do. And, you know, you may write them somewhere like in a notebook or like in a Apple Notes or something like that. And then it kind of goes away and you forget about it. So you sometimes forget about what you want, what your goals are, why you're doing things. So again, that can lead to more of making those rash decisions and then not achieving your goals. So you constantly want to remind yourself, okay, this is why I'm doing this training. This is what this training cycle is about. This is the goal that I'm trying to achieve. This is what I want. And again, focusing on that will more likely lead to success. And why it's important to do everything that I'm talking about and do this extra stuff is that there's other people out there who are not doing this. So if you're trying to look at it as far as the competitive aspect of, you want to place higher at nationals, you want to place higher at worlds, you want to break records, then you have to do the things that other people aren't doing, because a lot of people are skipping out on all these little aspects where it's not just the numbers on the page for squat, bench, and deadlift. There's all these other things from accessory work and prehab and rehab, nutrition, sleep, hydration, technique, all those things. So a quote to think about is, do today what others won't, so tomorrow you can do what other people can't. I'm gonna repeat that again. Do today what others won't, so that tomorrow you can do what people can't. What that means is, right now you should be doing the things, like I said, that other people aren't willing to do. People aren't willing to put the effort into doing all these little extra things to better themselves. So if you do those things that other people aren't doing to better yourself, you're going to gain that edge. You're going to pass them, so that one day down the line in the future, you will be doing things as far as numbers, let's say in powerlifting, when it comes to squat, bench, press, and deadlift, that other people can't do. No one else in the world is capable of hitting the numbers that you're able to hit because of all that little stuff you did along the way to get ahead of those people. And that's just what's happening right now too. So if you're looking at the top lifters in the world in powerlifting, let's say, you know, Taylor and Leah in the IPF on the drug tested side, they're hitting numbers that no one else in the world is hitting, and sometimes numbers that no one in history has hit. And they're some of the best lifters in the world. And so people may be thinking to themselves like, oh, they must be genetic outliers, or, you know, I'm never gonna be capable of doing that. But what they don't see is the journey of that Taylor or Leah or anyone else along the way. And again, they were doing the things as far as it comes to training, technique, sleep, hydration, nutrition, everything like that, all these years along the way that other people were slacking off on. People were having fun, going partying, or not even worrying about their nutrition, not making the weight cuts for the weight class that they have to make. Other people weren't doing those things. They were slacking on their accessory work or their nutrition. Maybe they weren't even tracking their nutrition, those kinds of things. And so those people fell behind. And then people like Taylor and Leah were passing those people slowly along the way, year after year. They're passing more people and doing more things that other people were willing to do. As they were getting more motivated and more bought into powerlifting and everything it entails, other people were falling off or becoming less motivated and doing less and becoming more stagnant. So now when we're looking at things, you know, 3, 5, 7 years in the future, then you're seeing that gap and you're like, oh man, Taylor's hitting these numbers that no one in history in the world is being able to hit. But the reason he got that gap is from all those years of doing those little things. So now you right now have to go and do that. Right now, you have to commit to all these things I'm saying and going and doing all those little things that other people around you right now in the world are not willing to do. So that when it comes your turn 3, 5 years down the line, if you've been doing all this extra stuff and slowly passing on these people as people stagnate or drop off, then in the future, you will be that person. You will be the Taylor, you'll be the Leah, and you'll be doing the things that no one else in the world is doing. And then people will be looking at you and be like, oh man, whoever it is, John or Jessica, or whatever like that, like, oh man, they're the best in the world. like I'll never be that person, and it kind of repeats that process because again, those people saying those things and thinking those things aren't willing to do those things that you should be hopefully willing to do to create that gap in the years down the line. So hopefully you start doing those things now and you start seeing things as an opportunity to better yourself and do better in sport rather than an obligation of things that you're forced to do and don't want to do, and continue to focus on the things you do want to do and focus on what your goals are and remind yourself of those things so you're more likely to succeed. And you want to be doing all those little things that other people aren't willing to do so you can gain the ground on them as they fall off out of the sport or just stagnate, and then you will be that top person. So hopefully you liked this video. If you did, drop a like, and then I'm going to throw this into a powerlifting mindset playlist. So if you missed out on the previous videos I did around these type of topics, then you can check that playlist by clicking over here, and I'll also throw it down in the description below and down in the comments, and you can go check out those other videos to help you out so you can dominate on the platform. I'll catch you guys in the next video.